Oh, there we go, guys. I got him. All right. Woo, sight fished this guy. This is about the 5th cast. Finally got him in. He's coming right to the boat. Oh.
What's going on, Salt Star Nation? Richard here, and today I'm going to be answering one of the questions that I get all the time, and that is, what lure size do I throw and when? So today I'm going to be going over 3 key things that you need to think about next time you're out on the water and you need to choose the right lure size. All right, so the first tip you need to be thinking about when going out there and choosing the right lure size is gonna be, what is the size of the bait? And then also, how much bait is actually present? That is a very important factor as well. So once you figure out the general profile and size of the bait, we've all heard match the hatch, and that can be very good when it comes to the profile of the bait, but sometimes it doesn't mean it's the right size. For example, right now on the southeast coast, we have a ton of shrimp starting to make a run, especially our brown shrimp, and there are thousands of them in the water, and as the summer continues, there's gonna be even more. So instead of throwing a profile that is the exact same size as that shrimp, keep the same profile, but maybe go with a little bit bigger bait, something like this right here, which is gonna be the full-size power prawn. So what this does is separate your bait from the mass, because those fish are seeing thousands and thousands of these shrimp every single day. So it makes sense to try and distinguish yours a little bit more by upping the size of your lure. It's just gonna help it get noticed when there's so much other bait in the water. So the second thing you really need to think about when choosing the right lure size is going to be the tide cycle. And really that's because fish feed on different types of bait during different portions of the tide cycle. And really the reason for that is going to be access, right? So example, at the low tide stages, you're going to have a lot more of your smaller shrimp, maybe even some of your mud minnows. So a presentation like the Slam Shady 2.0, a Gold Digger has been one of my favorite lately. That is going to be a really, really good presentation for low tide. And additionally, you know, there's a lot of times less water, so basically those fish can be a little bit more spooky compared to when there's more water for them to kind of move around freely. So then kind of moving into your mid-tide stage, a lot of that small bait that was present at low tide that those fish were able to get to now is starting to push up into the grass, but it's not quite enough where, you know, your finger mullet and some of your fin fish, maybe even some of your menhaden can get in that grass as well. So that's when it's good to go ahead and switch over and maybe get a bigger profile bait, something such as our bomber, which is a 5-inch profile, and something like that is going to be a lot better to throw during those mid-tide stages. So the third thing you really need to know about choosing the right lure size is going to be based off of conditions. For example, if you're going out in a still morning where there's not a lot of texture on the water and it maybe is a lower tide stage, that's probably a good indication to throw a smaller size lure. One, there's not as much water for those fish to move around, so you don't want to spook those fish by throwing a huge profile bait, say compared to one of your mid-tide stages or even your higher tide stage. Now, when I like to throw a bigger profile bait, or sometimes even add a popping cork, is when there's a lot more current, there's maybe some more texture on the water, there's a little bit more noise going around, because those fish's lateral line is very sensitive to all types of vibrations and things like that. So if there's a ton of bait in the water and you have kind of a fast moving current and also a lot of wind and things like that, it's good to go ahead and make your bait a little bit bigger, because it's going to get noticed more. If you have a smaller bait in those type of conditions, it just is hard to get noticed. So that's when I really like throwing, you know, your bigger paddle tails, things like that, that'll have more profile size in the water and also more vibration. So to recap, the top 3 things you really need to be thinking about is going to be, what is the bait size and also how much of that bait is present. Then what part of the tide cycle are you going to be fishing, because the fish feed on different types of bait during the different portions of the tide cycle due to access. And then lastly, what are going to be the conditions, such as your wind and your current speed. And if you think about those 3 things the next time you're out, it should definitely help you choose the right lure size. And be sure to check out fishstrong.com if you need any of the lures mentioned in today's video. And if you're a member, you can get up to 20% off on these lures and much more tackle at our shop. And guys, if you have any questions, be sure to drop them in the comments below. And if you're new to Salt Strong, just know that we're the best online club for saltwater anglers, especially if you're targeting redfish, sea trout, snook, or flounder. There's nothing else like it, and we actually guarantee that you'll catch more fish while saving time and money. We do this with our premium education, the exclusive insider community, and huge discounts on all the tackle you need. To learn more, go to saltstrong.com. Otherwise, we hope to see you again soon.